Demond Wilson was a familiar presence in American homes long before streaming, social media, or viral fame. For millions of viewers, he was Lamont Sanford, the steady and thoughtful son navigating life beside one of television's most unforgettable characters. But behind that iconic role was a man whose life moved through discipline, war, fame, faith, and family, often far from the spotlight that first made him known. His death on January 30th, 2026, at the age of 79, brought a wave of quiet reflection rather than shock. People did not rush to speculate. They paused, remembered, and looked back at a life that unfolded with intention. Today we are going to tell you about Demond Wilson's cause of death, his wife, his children, his net worth, and the lifestyle he chose after fame. Demond Wilson was born Grady Demond Wilson in Valdosta, Georgia, and raised in Harlem, New York, during a time when the arts were deeply woven into community life. From a young age, he showed unusual focus and discipline. He studied dance, appeared on stage early, and learned quickly that performance required commitment, not just talent. That foundation shaped the way he approached everything that came later. Acting was never a game to him. It was work, and serious work at that. Before Hollywood ever opened its doors, Wilson's life took a sharp turn. He served in the United States Army during the Vietnam War and was wounded in combat. That experience stayed with him forever. Friends and family later said it grounded him in a way fame never could. It taught him humility, perspective, and the cost of life itself. When he returned home, his outlook had changed. But he carried discipline and seriousness into his acting career, treating every opportunity as something earned, not given. Wilson worked steadily on stage and television before landing a guest role on All in the Family in 1971. That single appearance changed everything. Producers noticed his calm presence and natural restraint, qualities that would soon define his most famous role. In 1972, he was cast as Lamont Sanford in Sanford and Son, opposite Red Fox. The show became a cultural landmark almost instantly. Lamont Sanford was not the loudest character on screen. He was thoughtful, patient, and often exhausted by his father's chaos. That contrast was the heart of the show. Wilson's performance worked because he played Lamont with sincerity, not exaggeration. He grounded the humor. He made the relationship believable. Audiences saw themselves in him, trying to do the right thing while navigating someone else's madness. Sanford and Son ran for 6 successful seasons and became one of the first sitcoms with a mostly black cast to achieve mainstream success. It opened doors for countless shows that followed. During the show's run, Wilson carried heavy responsibility, especially when Red Fox temporarily left due to contract disputes. Wilson stepped into the spotlight and proved he could hold the series together. When Fox returned, the partnership continued until the show ended in 1977. Despite its success, the experience was not without strain. Wilson later spoke honestly about the emotional toll of television fame. While the show brought recognition and financial security, it did not bring peace. And he often said the pressure to remain enthusiastic and visible became draining. After Sanford and Son ended, Wilson continued acting. He starred in Baby I'm Back and The New Odd Couple, along with later film roles and guest appearances on television. But the spark was gone. Acting no longer felt challenging or fulfilling. In interviews, he admitted that pretending excitement had become emotionally exhausting. By the mid-1980s, Wilson made a decision that surprised many. He walked away from Hollywood and turned toward faith. He became an ordained minister and devoted himself to preaching, evangelism, and community work. This was not a temporary phase. It was a permanent shift in identity. Wilson often said faith gave him a purpose fame never did. He wrote several books, including Christian works and his memoir, which reflected honestly on his years in television. In his writing, he did not glorify fame. He examined it. He spoke about the blessings, the pressure, and the cost. His words revealed a man who had made peace with his choices. In his personal life, Wilson found stability and consistency. He married Cicely Johnston in 1974, and their marriage lasted more than 5 decades. Together, they raised 6 children. Family was his anchor. He protected his private life carefully and rarely spoke about it publicly. Those close to him described him as a devoted husband and father who valued discipline, structure, and spiritual grounding. Wilson's lifestyle changed significantly after leaving Hollywood. He lived comfortably but modestly. His estimated net worth at the time of his death was around $2 million, and earned through his television success, book sales, and later work. He was never known for extravagance. Instead, he invested his time and resources into ministry, writing, and supporting his family. In his later years, Wilson stayed mostly out of the spotlight. He made occasional appearances but avoided chasing nostalgia. He believed each chapter of life had its time. Fame belonged to the past. Purpose belonged to the present. Demond Wilson's cause of death was confirmed by his publicist, who stated that he passed away due to complications from cancer. The announcement was simple and respectful, much like the way Wilson lived. There were no dramatic statements, no public spectacle, just confirmation, followed by reflection. Tributes described him as compassionate, disciplined, and deeply rooted in faith. And many emphasized that while Lamont Sanford made him famous, it was his later life that truly defined him. He sought to uplift others not through applause but through service. Wilson is survived by his wife, Cicely, and their 6 children. His legacy is layered. He will always be remembered as a television icon, but also as a man who walked away from fame when it no longer aligned with his values. In the end, Demond Wilson's story is not only about success on screen. It is about knowing when to step away, choosing purpose over applause, and building a life that feels complete beyond the spotlight. His passing closes a chapter, but the example he set remains steady, quiet, and deeply human.